Welcome back to Pips-N-Chits. My name is Jason, and today is episode number 5 of my solo playthrough of Tomb of Annihilation, Scenario 1, A Favor for Jessamine. And we'll get right into a recap here. In our last episode, we discovered the Mushroom Grove, and if you remember, the scenario objective for this is to pick up 4 of these mushrooms, and to attempt a mushroom pickup that is considered one action. On a roll of 6 or higher, that is considered a success, and we remove one of those tokens. On a roll of 5 or lower, that is considered a failure, and additionally, our hero will take 1 point of damage, considering that these mushrooms are poisonous. Right now, we have 1 healing surge left between our 2 heroes. Artus, although currently at an advantage, only has 2 hit points left out of his 8. He currently has 6 damage. And Dragonbait is actually a little bit more worse for wear. Out of his 10 starting hit points, he only has 1 left. He has taken 9 points of damage. So we're hoping that our enemies, the villains that is, roll very low or miss. I do have 5 experience points left in our pool, so we can cancel 1 upcoming encounter. So with that, let's go ahead and move into the next round, which I believe should be round number 9. All right, here's the beginning of round number 9. It is going to be Artus's turn, and as you can see, he's adjacent to a Chult skeleton. I'm kind of hoping, though, that I don't want to move. Remember, we have to pick up these mushrooms, so I think the first thing I want to attempt, however, is maybe get another experience point, maybe get a treasure, is try to take out that Tai Broodguard. So, using our cards, here, what do we have? I could attack 1 adjacent monster right there, but I think that I want to use my Careful Shot, which is my at-will power. That's attack 1 monster within 2 tiles of my hero. I want to go ahead and get rid of him because he only has 1 hit point left. So let's go ahead and roll for that. And that is a 4 plus 10, so 14, and just barely. So we did the armor class of that Tai Broodguard was 13. So we go ahead and damage him, and we get 2 experience for that. We'll go ahead and remove him from the board, and this time I remember to pick up a treasure, which is 100 gold pieces. So let me just get the appropriate token, and we will go ahead and put that on Artus's card. Now, Artus has 1 action left, and that last attack, I'm just going to go ahead and take this advantage off. He would have rolled twice, and he would take the better of the 2 values. He already hit him on the first one, so even if I rolled lower, he still would have taken that better shot, so it doesn't really matter. We'll go ahead and take advantage off right now. But we're going to attempt to pick up a mushroom. So at this point now, I have to roll a 6 or better. And I got a 14, so that's great. We've taken 1 mushroom, and we'll go ahead and put that on Artus's card right there. We have 3 mushrooms left. That should pretty much take up his his 2 actions there. So now we would go normally into the exploration phase, but since we're not next to any tile here, we're going to go ahead and draw an encounter. And I can, if it proves a little bit too much, we could go ahead and cancel that out with experience. So, Crushing Humidity. Each hero whose armor class is 16 or higher takes 1 damage. Wow. Okay, so that would instantly kill off Dragonbait, and I don't want to do that. So unfortunately, I'm going to go ahead and just go ahead and get rid of that right now, but I do have to pay for it. That's going to cost 5 points, so there is 2, 4, 5 experience points. It's a good thing we grabbed that experience, and that will go ahead and negate the that Crushing Humidity. So that will be the end of Artus's turn, and now the start of Dragonbait. And I kind of like the idea of Dragonbait. Maybe, well, he's not next to anybody, so he might just try to pick up a mushroom. It says, yeah, Boots of Elvenkind, nothing right now. He can only use heroism, I believe, on himself. It says choose an adjacent hero, give that hero 1 extra hit point. The hero hit point token acts as an extra hit point, but it's only on a hero next to him, and he's not next to anybody. So I think maybe we just use our 2 actions to dig up for mushrooms. I would say he should move, but that would waste 1 action there. And if he hit that Chulta skeleton, he might be able to take it out, but then he would not pick up any mushrooms. So I think right now we will just go ahead and pick. Oh, you know what? Before Dragonbait, I have to rewind a little bit. Before we do Dragonbait, during the enemy turn, the villain turn, the Velociraptor should do something. So it says if the Velociraptor is adjacent to a hero, no, it moves. If the Velociraptor is within 1 tile of a hero, it moves adjacent to the closest hero. Well, you know what? That might be good after all. So it's going to move up to Dragonbait, and if Dragonbait can survive this pounce attack, then he will get to. He will be able to use one of his power or fighting abilities there. So let's go ahead and roll for the Velociraptor. He gets a +6 on pounce. And that is a 3. That's a total of 9. That is going to be a miss against Dragonbait. So actually, that little mistake of mine and going back actually works to our benefit here, because Dragonbait now will be able to use Swift Strikes on his turn. He is adjacent to that Velociraptor, and he might be able to take him out. So Swift Strikes is, he gets 2 attacks, basically. It's a +4. And that is 18 plus 4. That should be enough. That would be 22. And that Velociraptor only had 1 hit point. That does gain us 2 additional experience. And that Velociraptor is removed from the board. So that leaves Dragonbait with 1 action left. He will go ahead and attempt to pick up a mushroom. And that is a 19. So Dragonbait picks up a mushroom. That's really good. Moving into the exploration phase, he is just going to go ahead and draw an encounter because we're not at the edge of anything. So our encounter is attack each hero on your hero's tile. Well, that's kind of bad. That would be 2 damage to each person. And if it misses, it does 1 damage. So that's automatically going to kill him. However, let's see, do we have enough points now? No, we do not in our experience. We only have 4 experience. We needed 5 to cancel that. I will roll for Artus right there. It's a +6. So let's go with that. So that would be 10. That is less than Artus's armor class of 15. So that misses. However, on a miss, he will take 1 damage. So Artus now has 1 hit point left. However, unfortunately, it's pointless. I shouldn't even have to roll for Dragonbait. On a miss, he's still going to take 1 point of damage, and that will knock him out. So that Triceratops attack, just think of a Triceratops came out of the jungle there, saw and snuck up and charged Dragonbait, and finally knocked Dragonbait out. So we go ahead and discard that. And now moving into the villain phase. Well, this is not good because the only thing that I could see here is the two skeleton, well, the Sue monster and the skeleton look like they will probably just attack Artus at this point. So starting, well, let's pause and figure that out. Okay, we're moving into the villain phase for our downed Dragonbait, so let's go ahead and take a look at the monsters here. The Sue monster is within one tile. It would normally attack Dragonbait, but since Dragonbait is down, he attacks each hero, so he'll go ahead and attempt a Psychic Crush on Artus there. So that's a +4 modifier. And 4 plus 4 is 8, so that is not enough to take down Artus. But now the Chult skeleton will have an attempt. He will now try to attack Artus with a modifier of +5. And that's 9 plus 5, that's 14. Oh my gosh, that is not enough. So he misses. The skeleton goes ahead and misses Artus. So Artus lives to see another day. Anyway, that is more or less the end of the villain phase, so we should be getting ready to move into the next round, which would be round number 10. And well, let's start with Artus here. Artus can go ahead and try to pick up another mushroom, but he is within one tile away, so he can go ahead and attempt to use Careful Shot one more time against that Sue monster. Remember that Sue monster has 2 hit points, or actually 1 left because he took 1 damage. So Artus will go ahead, turn around, and try to hit him. Easy peasy, that's a 19. So my luck is starting to turn around. So we go ahead and defeat that Sue monster there, take him off the board. And that does give us 2 more experience points. I think at this time he will attempt to pick up a mushroom, so we need to roll a 6 or higher. And oh no, it's a 2. So where are we at? 2, 4, 6, 7. Artus is now down and out. He did not pick up that mushroom, so that mushroom is gone. So Artus is down. We really don't pick any cards. There's no encounters because both of our guys are down. So we're kind of skipping the exploration phase. We move right into the villain phase. The Chult skeleton isn't going to attack anybody. They're both down. So that is more or less the end of that turn for Artus. However, now we have 1 healing surge left, and we are going to spend that healing surge for Dragonbait, who will immediately stand up, and he will get half of his hit points back. So he will have a total of 5 at this point. We just have to remember, I should probably just leave this on here. So I'm just going to leave this card, this marker on here. He basically starts off with 5 hit points for that healing surge, but it's kind of hard to track. So let's just assume that he's down to 5, or he has his 10 hit points and he's already at half of it. So hopefully he can survive these next 5 little attacks here, or damage. So I think the first thing he wants to do is go ahead and try to pick up a mushroom. So that will be, again, a 6 or higher. He picks up a mushroom. So that's great. That was 1 action. We could attempt, I think it's legal. You guys correct me if I'm wrong, but he could do 2 actions. And let's see. Well, let's take a look at our sequence of play here. In our hero phase, he can move and perform one of the following actions. Okay, so he's not going to move. I don't think he can do another action. It would normally be move and an action, but there's no reason for him to move at this point. So we'll go ahead and move forward onto the exploration phase. And the exploration phase, he's not going to draw a tile, but he will draw an encounter. And that encounter is Event Hatred. Choose a monster you control. Well, he only controls one. Monsters of that type activate twice this turn. If you control no monsters, draw again. Discard after playing. So this monster, the Chult Skeleton, will basically attack twice. So I think I'm not going to spend any experience points to cancel that out. He's got a high armor class of 17. I think we're okay. So that Chult Skeleton there is going to move directly over to Dragonbait and attack him for 1. And he has a +5 modifier. And so that first attack misses. That's a 3, so that would be 8. So he's going to make a second attack. And that's a natural 20, so he does go ahead and hit Dragonbait. So Dragonbait loses 1 of his 5 remaining hit points, so he's down to 4 health. Go ahead and discard that card. And now that I think about it, I don't recall. Did I might have needed to pick up another treasure. I have a feeling that, let's see, that we got rid of the Velociraptor, we got rid of the Soup Monster. I think Artus might have. You know what? It doesn't really matter. I don't know where I screwed up, but I think I should have drawn another treasure somewhere, but I can't remember at this point. But it's going to be the end here. We have 1 more mushroom to pick up, and we would basically move into the next round. So Artus, unfortunately, is still knocked out. We don't have any more healing surges left, so nothing is going to happen. The Chult Skeleton is still under Dragonbait's control, so it's not Dragonbait's turn, so the Chult Skeleton is not going to do anything until Dragonbait activates. So I basically think we can win the game right now if we can pick up a mushroom on this roll. So let's go ahead and just roll right now. I need a 6 or higher. And that's a 19. So we picked up the last mushroom. Dragonbait did, but it was at the cost of Artus being knocked out and not being able to stand back up. That's pretty much it. That is a favor for Jessamine. So let's go ahead and read on about what happens after fact, and we'll talk about how this experience went for everybody. Okay, let's talk about the aftermath of this scenario. Assuming that both of our heroes took those mushrooms back to Jessamine, let's go ahead and read from page 3 of the scenario book, what happens. If the heroes complete the scenario without using any healing surges, they each receive 200 gold pieces. Well, that didn't happen. Also, the marketplace at Port Nyanzaru is expended from 4 to 6 cards for the rest of the campaign. And so that means we could probably purchase some things there at the marketplace if we go ahead and move on to scenario number 2. If the heroes complete the scenario but use at least 1 healing surge, they each receive 100 gold pieces. So Artus, if you recall, had 400 gold. He'll end this scenario with 500 gold, and Dragonbait will have 100 gold already. He will pick up an additional 100 gold for 200 gold. Somewhere in the middle there, I missed out a treasure, I believe, but it is what it is. In either event, make the changes listed below, and now we're going to go ahead and add some cards and remove cards from our decks. So the first thing we're going to do with the treasure deck is we are going to remove 1 pouch of copper, and instead we are now going to add 1 bag of silver. So that's good for us if we come across that. Monsters, we are going to remove 1 straw man. I believe that the basic deck, we start with 3 straw man monsters, and they are basically decoys for the other monsters. Hate to see that go, but that's not too bad. Unfortunately, we are not going to remove any encounters, but instead we are going to add a new encounter. So the deck of encounters are going to get a little bit tougher with one assassin vine. So I hope you enjoyed my solo playthrough of A Favor for Jessamine. Please go ahead and leave me a comment. Any kind of corrections or strategy changes you would make, that would be awesome. Unfortunately, yeah, let me flip the camera up topside and let's talk about this. Okay.
Welcome back up topside here. And so let's go ahead and talk about my afterthoughts of this game. I really enjoy this Wizkids production of Tomb of Annihilation. And as you saw, we just played the opening scenario, A Favor for Jessamine. I've played this scenario a few times, both by myself, solo, and with friends. And quite honestly, this is the worst I have ever done. Some of those dice rolls were absolutely atrocious and horrible. So much so, in fact, that to be fair and to be honest with you guys, towards the end of the game there and going kind of like reviewing my edits and kind of putting this video series together, I actually lost the game, I think by one turn. I think both of my guys were down and I just didn't really catch it there. So if you caught it before I did, awesome. You have eagle eyes, but the way that I played it, you really didn't lose anything. Again, this was the tutorial scenario. You get the gist of the game. Playing it solo and with my recording of this and breaking it up over a couple of days, sometimes the little housekeeping can be a little chaotic and kind of hard to follow. It's not that the game is hard at all. It's just sometimes, keeping track of what monsters belong to which character and when they move. Sometimes when I'm talking on camera and rolling dice and kind of getting distracted out of my peripheral vision, things just happen. But for the most part, I think I caught most of my mistakes. I do think, however, that one of my characters should have picked up a treasure. I think that was in, like I said, in either round 9, but that's okay. Other than that, I really hope you enjoyed this game. If you did, I plan on eventually doing some more of the scenarios, moving forward onto those scenarios. And hey, if you guys really like that, I also have the Mad Mage game as well, also by Wizkids. I think that came out last year or earlier this year in 2020 or late 2019. But that's the next big box game of the same type. Also, if you into video games, there is a really cool digital version of Tomb of Annihilation on Steam. It really isn't that expensive. It's a really good interpretation of this game. It comes with 4 base characters, and for a couple extra dollars, you can get the DLC and download the 2 other characters to round out everything for 6. Kind of follows the same story, but there's some little side missions as well. There's a little bit more variety. They introduce a couple of mechanics or a couple of modes that aren't in the board game, but for all intents and purposes, it really does capture the feel of the board game, and I think it's a pretty good assimilation of the board game itself. But for that, I hope you really enjoyed this game. Please go ahead and leave me a critique below or any kind of comments. I would love to read them. Again, if you want to see more, maybe I'll skip ahead a couple of scenarios and get more to the actual dungeon stuff. We could hopefully, purchase some new items there from the port, and you can see some of the other tiles and some of the other mechanics as we get more into the advanced scenarios. And as we get into the advanced scenarios, as you see, or I alluded to, the decks change too. The treasure deck will have a little bit more lucrative loot in there. But the monster decks also get a little bit more advanced. We're going to see some monsters we didn't get to see in this the tutorial game. We're also going to get some new encounters, some tougher encounters that we didn't really get to see in this game here. But for all intents and purposes, I hope to see you next time. And again, my name is Jason, and this is my channel, Pips-N-Chits. Go ahead, subscribe, tell me what you think, and I'll see you next time. Thank you very much.